Before we go on to the topic of this video, I need all of you to understand this first. You do not need to be stressed up. If you are happy and things are generally fine in your life, then there is nothing wrong if you do not feel stressed up. Understand? Good. I say this because with the recent emphasis on mental health in schools, there are bound to be students, especially the younger ones, who start wondering if there's something wrong with them for not feeling stressed up. And the answer is no, there is nothing wrong with you. We just have a greater awareness about mental health now, which is good, but it doesn't mean that you are abnormal for not having the same problems. Alright, with that settled, let's talk about our main topic today. How much stress is too much? We always hear that a bit of stress is good and even healthy for us, and we hear that too much stress is bad for us. But just how much is too much? How do you know when you have too much stress? These are two guidelines that I teach my students. Stress becomes a concern or problem when it makes you uncomfortable. Stress becomes a serious problem when it impedes your ability to perform your day-to-day activity. Let me elaborate on a few keywords here. We'll start with the first one. A concern or problem here means that you should take note of it, but it'll probably go away on its own, or you can easily manage it with some stress relieving strategies like deep breathing or redirection. And uncomfortable here means that it's not a nice feeling, but it doesn't affect you from doing the things that you normally do on a day-to-day basis. Now, for the second guideline, a serious problem means that you should speak to a trusted adult or a professional about it. And day-to-day activities refer to the ordinary things that all of us do on more or less a daily basis. Stress becomes a serious problem when it starts affecting your ability to perform these day-to-day activities. Here's a personal example. I get nervous and a little stressed up when I have to order food and drinks. Like, I really do. This is a real personal example. I get nervous and a little stressed up because I'm afraid I will mess up my order and then hold up the queue behind me. So there's a bit of stress there and it's uncomfortable, but it's not going to prevent me from ordering the bubble tea that I want. And even if I do mess up my order and hold up the line, I would feel bad about it, but I'm not going to start crying over it. I'll just apologize and make the correction. No big deal. However, if I'm so worried about messing up my order and holding up the line that I can't even order my bubble tea, or if I do make the order but mess it up and then start crying over it, then it is now a serious problem because my stress is now preventing me from performing a day-to-day activity that everyone else is able to do. You see the difference between the two now? Here's a more common example. A normal amount of stress for exams is when you are worried and nervous about what question will come up or how well you'll perform for it. You are afraid that you might fail or do poorly. It is an uncomfortable feeling, but this doesn't stop you from studying for it or even taking the exam itself. In fact, it actually motivates you to study because you don't want those undesirable outcomes to occur. And even if you do end up performing poorly, you wouldn't start crying inconsolably or get depressed because you think that your future is ruined now. You'll be disappointed, maybe even shed a few tears, but you'll still be able to carry on with your life and try to do better next time. Too much stress could be when you can't even bring yourself to study for it. You worry so much about the exam that you can't focus on studying, or you're so afraid of it that you don't even dare to go to school and take the exam. If you perform poorly and react really intensely like how I mentioned earlier, then that's a sign that you might be under too much stress as well. So again, a bit of stress is a concern or a problem when it makes you uncomfortable, but you can still manage it with some simple strategies. Too much stress is a serious problem when it starts preventing you from performing your day-to-day activities, and that is when you need to speak to a trusted adult or a professional about it. Use those two guidelines to assess your current situation. What are the things that make you feel stressed up right now? Does it make you uncomfortable? Or does it prevent you from even performing a day-to-day activity that most people can do? From there, you will have a better idea of what you can do to improve your situation and help you feel better. Now, before I finish up, I want to quickly touch on a lack of stress. A lack of stress is fine if your life is generally going well and you are happy and healthy. But if a person is unable to feel stress about anything, then it could potentially be a serious problem because that is a sign of depression, which is a large topic that we'll talk about in another video. For now though, all you need to know is that generally, if you are happy and healthy, then in most cases, a lack of stress is not a problem. But if you're neither happy nor healthy, and a lack of stress means a lack of interest in anything, then you might want to speak to a professional because that might be a sign of depression. Alright, so in summary, a bit of stress is when it makes you uncomfortable, but you can still go about with your daily activities. You can manage it on your own with simple strategies like deep breathing, which I've linked below in the description. Too much stress is when it prevents you from performing your day-to-day activities, and that is when you need to speak to a trusted adult or a professional about it to get help. Now, if you find that your negative thoughts are causing you a lot of stress, then check out my video on redirecting your thoughts, which is a really effective technique that is commonly used in therapy. Alright, thank you for watching, and as always, remember that I am proud of you for even just trying. Bye bye!